Hello, my name is Ania Hyatt. I chose to analyze Adobe Inc. for this case study, and it is for Sustainable Business Strategy 535. So, Adobe's mission statement is to change the world through personalized digital experiences. Adobe Inc. exists as one of the world's largest players in the computer software industry, specifically in the sector of design. Their main industry influence lies within digital media, specifically in offering softwares to creatives. And their main service, Creative Cloud, offers apps like the ever popular Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Express, and many more. And they lead in digital media creation as the industry standard right now. Their software is used by a range of customers, from students to independent creative professionals, all the way up to enterprises. And I chose this company for my thesis projects because I'm a graphic designer and I use Adobe software every day as part of my career. So, simply put, I'm a stakeholder with current interest in the company as my industry ebbs and flows every day. It's also just a very hot topic right now. As of last week, Adobe's been rolling out new pricing models and service structures, some of which I'll talk about are upsetting the design community, which I've been seeing and wanting to research and comment on for myself. So, here I am doing that. Um, Moving on to some sustainability challenges, Adobe does actually already have a good foundation of CSR. They've shown good progress through environmental goals like achieving 100% renewable electricity by 2025 and net zero emissions by 2050, as well as a working community that fosters inclusion and creativity. However, they're also seeing performance gaps that threaten their long term competitive position and stakeholder opinions. Some of the following challenges came up during my research. Starting with challenge one is customer backlash over pricing and trust. Um, so, Adobe Creative Cloud's pricing model has triggered criticism among creatives, especially independent users and small businesses who are getting phased out of the ability to afford the creative software. So basically, Adobe, because of their recent integration of AI, announced a major increase in their already super expensive subscription. It's ethically gray area as well because while Adobe did create a cheaper subscription, which includes less comprehensive services, they also have already transformed the workflow of creatives by offering generative tools in the existing package for the last 2 years. So now they're basically saying you have to pay an extra $10 per month, which brings the total to a whopping $70 per month for the Creative Cloud subscription, which people have already gotten accustomed to. Um, they're also, in doing this, automatically bumping everyone to the higher plan without the option to first opt out, with which people understandably don't like. Users are also upset by the fact that they're raising prices of education subscriptions as well, which have historically remained low as part of their community offerings. So, the point is, with all this, big names in the design community are starting to speak against Adobe, and many have lost respect for the company because of their greed. Customers, especially loyal freelancers, are being affected the most and feel left behind. And Adobe has historically not offered any kind of customer loyalty program or benefits, which is largely contributing to this dissatisfaction among their customer base. So, challenge two is emissions and water use. Transitioning to more environment centric issues, as Adobe expands AI and cloud services, the required data centers and their cooling systems consume significant water, especially in drought prone areas. So, this increases environmental and regulatory risk. So, while water cooling is already substantially more energy efficient than other methods, it does still contribute to a water stress factor. Um, Adobe's operations require about 130 full Olympic swimming pools worth of water, with 30% from water stressed areas. They currently recycle and reuse only 8% of that water withdrawn. And challenge three is e waste and circular design. So, this dependence on digital infrastructure further contributes to the growing e waste epidemic. Excuse me, epidemic. While information tech recycling does exist, circular economy practices are not fully established yet for Adobe. So, some strategic recommendations based on these challenges that can be implemented include one, launching transparent pricing models to rebuild customer trust, implement customer loyalty programs. From a competition perspective, an up and coming competitor, Affinity, offers affordable lifetime licenses with simplified pricing, which is a huge appeal to independent creators who feel left behind by Adobe's price increases. In addition to having a flat pricing model, Affinity is adapted to offer a wide range of competitively powerful tools. Despite their top tier technological advancements, I still think Adobe should learn from and respond to this competition. Adobe should also hyper focus on improving their service if they're going to charge a premium for it. Lots of people can respect Adobe's advanced innovation when it comes to generative tools, but not many competitors can offer. But they become upset when they pay premiums for buggy service, lag, and mediocre software performance, which I can personally attest to. If Adobe is going to stand by their pricing decisions due to advancement, their services need to reflect it. Suggestion two would be to invest in water efficient cooling technologies and partnerships for data centers. Um, Regulators and communities expect transparency and reduction in water use. Simply put, Adobe has centers located all over the world and in the US. And while they currently disclose emissions, they have limited reporting on water and they lack detailed public data on water use per facility, which could help with accountability. So, opportunities for making water use more efficient include improving water disclosure practices and making investments and commitments in water efficient cooling tech and methods like direct liquid cooling, immersion cooling, evaporative cooling, or seawater cooling, and other methods like that. Um, and suggestion number three would be to advance circular design and comprehensive e waste management. Consumers and investors expect tech firms to minimize waste and improve product design for end of life assembly and disposal. This shift can be expected or can be expedited, excuse me, by increased circular economy strategies. So, simply stated, reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. Seems simple. It's not that simple, though. There is a whole process for this end of life tech, which involves substituting virgin materials with recycled materials in production, proper collection, recycling of old parts, and finding the right partners who specialize in such disposals. For instance, just to give some numbers, aluminum recycling saves 95% of the energy footprint of producing virgin aluminum. Um, and recycling of rare earth elements uses 58 to 88% less energy compared to baseline primary production. So, in implementing many of these suggestions, Adobe may take a hit financially, but as we learned from the stakeholder theory and triple bottom line, it's often worth it in the long term, and the actions of a strong leader is to listen to the opinions of their loyal customers in balance with the pursuit of advancements. So, users want to be heard, and now more than ever want a financially and environmentally sustainable software to work with that will reward their loyalty and deliver services. Corporations also need to work and care for the people and the planet in order to also profit these days. So it's very important. So, some implementation and KPIs. As listed on this graphic and as detailed previously, some specific implementation ideas include launching an updated transparent pricing portal with historical data and rationale for changes to combat users' perceptions of feeling cheated and neglected by sudden pricing changes. Um, as well as establishing updated stakeholder advisory groups with focus on representation from creatives with a range of independent freelancers, education, audience, and B2B perspectives. Three, implementing a customer loyalty program with discounts and services for longtime users of the software, which is not yet implemented yet. KPIs to measure this include net promoter scores and customer churn rate. For the water use issue, begin publishing detailed water use metrics for all data centers in conjunction with continued and accountable efforts to reduce water usage. Achieve water neutrality and water positive operations by aiming to return at least as much water to communities and the environment as consumed. KPIs for this include gallons per data center and water intensity per megawatt hour. And for recommendation three, prioritize partnerships that offer comprehensive e-waste services like data destruction, remarketing, and precious metal recovery, aiming for methods promoting a circular economy. Conducting regular audits of internal facilities and partner facilities to make sure they meet environmental standards and responsible handling practices. Fully integrating circular design principles in all hardware and server manufacturing and end of life processes. And some final KPIs for these are percent of supplier emissions disclosed, and percent of recyclable products and e waste recovered for circular design and e waste management. So, lastly, and I know I've got well over time here, I had a lot to fit. I learned in this course that by further embracing transparency, improving environmental accountability, and building upon equitable access, Adobe can turn its challenges into opportunities. Sustainability, when married with strategy, becomes more than just a risk avoidance tactic, as we've learned, but rather a journey to long term and integrated value creation. One figure that stuck with me relating to the why of CSR specifically is from a study from Accenture Strategy. It states that 48% of US consumers who are disappointed by a brand's words or actions relating to CSR complain about it, and 42% walk away from the brand in frustration, with 1 in 5 or 21% never coming back. These numbers really illustrated to me that now more than ever, businesses exist in a golden era for sustainable change and predicting external perceptions. Um, and like I said in the beginning, I'm a graphic designer and I use Adobe softwares every single day for my job. I am pursuing an MBA to set myself up to possibly build my own design brand one day. So, freelancing at a high level is the ultimate goal, and research like this directly influences everything I do in that. And just being more knowledgeable about my industry and the companies that influence it ultimately set me up to better make decisions for myself in the future. Thank you. I've really enjoyed this class. It was super interesting. I loved applying the things we learned about to something that I'm passionate about. And sorry, I've gone way over time. It's fine to dock me for that, but I feel like all of this was important in getting my points across. So, yeah, thank you very much for your time and a good class. Bye.